The streets of Tulsa are quiet again, but not for long. When a king disappears, chaos fills the throne, and Dwight Manfredi isn't a man who gives up his crown easily. After months of silence, Tulsa King is back, and the new trailer for Season 3 Episode 7 just changed everything. Every second feels heavier, darker, and far more dangerous. It's not just business anymore, it's war. The trailer opens like a storm slowly forming on the horizon. There's a faint sound of wind, the echo of boots on wet pavement, and that familiar deep tone of Sylvester Stallone's voice, calm, controlled, but filled with warning. Dwight the General Manfredi is back in Tulsa, and it feels like the calm before a war that's about to consume the entire city. From the first few seconds, it's clear the world around Dwight has changed. The bright neon lights that once represented his power now flicker like fading promises. The camera moves through Tulsa's empty streets, the same ones where his empire began, and we see the signs of a city recovering from chaos. His enemies may be gone, but their ghosts remain in every shadow. The trailer doesn't need words to tell us this, it shows it. The tension lives in every shot. Then comes the first glimpse of Dwight himself. He steps out of a black car, wearing his classic dark suit, but something in his eyes looks different. He's colder, quieter, a man who's learned that loyalty has a price. The trailer flashes moments of betrayal, quick cuts of faces we recognize, and some we don't. There's a feeling that something big is about to happen. Something that could destroy everything Dwight built. The narration in the background, deep and steady, hints at the main conflict. Power is never given, it's taken. Those words hang in the air like a challenge. This isn't the same Dwight who came to Tulsa trying to start over. This is a man who knows the rules, who's been burned, and who's ready to burn others in return. The trailer's rhythm picks up, switching between fast-paced flashes of gunfire, intense meetings, and the silent, cold stare of a man surrounded by enemies. But what's most striking isn't the action, it's the silence between it. The brief pauses where Dwight looks at the city he tried to control. You can almost feel what he's thinking. That being the King of Tulsa doesn't mean peace. It means constant war. There's a new player in town, a rival whose face is kept hidden in the trailer. But the threat feels real, someone dangerous, someone smart. The audience doesn't need to see him yet. The mystery itself adds to the tension. Throughout this part of the trailer, the color tone feels heavier, more cinematic than before. The golden glow of Tulsa is replaced with shadows and smoke. It's a signal. The series is evolving, growing darker, digging deeper into Dwight's soul. Every glance, every whispered word feels like it's building toward an explosion that we can't yet see but know is coming. This section of the trailer sets the stage perfectly. It reminds viewers who Dwight is, a man too stubborn to die, too proud to run, and too clever to lose. The power, the loneliness, and the moral weight of his choices hang over every scene. You can sense the shift. Season 3 Episode 7 isn't just another chapter. It's the beginning of the endgame for Dwight Manfredi. The fans will recognize familiar faces, his loyal crew, his allies who've stood through every betrayal. But there's a chill in the air. Something's off. The alliances that once made Dwight strong now seem fragile. Every handshake looks like it could turn into a knife in the back. And yet, in the middle of it all, Dwight stands tall, unbroken, unmoved, and ready for whatever's next. As the music builds to a haunting crescendo, we get one final shot, Dwight looking out over the city lights, cigarette in hand, saying quietly, if they want a war, they'll get one. The trailer cuts to black, and the words Tulsa King, Season 3 Episode 7 flash across the screen. The message is clear, the king has returned, but this time, even kings bleed. Tulsa was never meant to be home for a man like Dwight Manfredi, but somehow, it became the center of his empire. Season 2 left us standing in the middle of that empire, watching it rise from dust only to crumble under the weight of betrayal, greed, and blood. As the trailer flashes fragments from the past, it feels like a reminder of everything that brought Dwight to this point. Every choice, every fight, every promise broken. The ghosts of Season 2 are still alive, and they're whispering through every frame of this new trailer. The recap moments hit like aftershocks. We see the flashes of Dwight's old crew, Tyson trying to prove he's more than just a driver, Stacy torn between her duty as a federal agent and her heart, and Chicky, the New York Sun, who still wants revenge for the humiliation Dwight delivered. Each face carries a story that hasn't ended yet. The trailer doesn't spoon-feed us these memories. It slices them in like wounds reopening, quick, painful, and unforgettable. There's a scene where Dwight stands alone in the bar that once served as his headquarters. The lights are off, the stools overturned, the laughter gone. You can feel the history bleeding from the walls. It was here that the King of Tulsa declared his rule, surrounded by outlaws and dreamers. Now, that same bar looks like a tombstone, a symbol of how fast power can vanish. The past season built this world of crime and loyalty. And now, in episode 7, the walls seem to be closing in. We remember how Dwight built his operation not through fear, but through respect. He didn't want to be another mob boss, he wanted a second chance, a legacy. But season 2 showed us the truth. The past never lets go. New York kept calling, and with it came trouble. The betrayal from within his circle was the deepest cut. One wrong deal, one whisper to the wrong person. And suddenly, the man who built his empire from nothing was surrounded by vultures, waiting to pick it apart. The trailer teases us with flashbacks, gunfire in the desert, an ambush in the dark, a phone ringing with no one answering. Each image feels like a reminder that nothing in Dwight's world stays buried. There's even a split-second glimpse of Stacy's badge hitting the floor, followed by her looking over her shoulder in fear. That one moment says everything. Loyalties are cracking. But amid all that chaos, we also remember why fans fell in love with this story. Dwight isn't a hero, but he's not the villain either. He's the gray area in a world that wants everything to be black or white. The trailer subtly shows his softer side, a quiet look at a photo. Maybe his daughter, maybe someone lost, and it grounds him again. That's what makes him human. That's what keeps us watching. Season 2 ended with more questions than answers. Who truly stands beside Dwight now? Can he trust Tyson after the fallout? Will Stacy ever forgive herself for crossing that line? And what about the New York crew? Are they finished? Or just regrouping for something bigger? These are the shadows haunting every second of the new trailer. The editing plays tricks on the audience. Old scenes are blended with new ones, making it hard to tell what's a memory and what's coming next. It's intentional, a cinematic illusion that mirrors Dwight's state of mind. The man's living between two worlds, his past that won't die, and his future that refuses to begin. The rhythm of the trailer, pulsing with tension, tells us this is a story about reckoning. When the trailer slows down, there's a moment of silence. Dwight's voice cuts through it. Every man pays for what he takes. That single line sums up the entire emotional core of season 2. He took power, respect, and freedom, and now, the bill is due. The quiet intensity in his voice says it all. He knows what's coming, and he's ready to face it. The recap in the trailer doesn't just remind us of what happened, it reawakens the emotions that came with it. The pain, the loyalty, the revenge, the guilt. Every storyline from season 2 feels like it's converging into this one explosive point in season 3, episode 7. The writers aren't looking back for nostalgia. They're using the past like gasoline, ready to ignite the present. By the end of this section, one thing becomes clear: everything Dwight has done is catching up to him. The city he tried to tame is now his cage, and the people he trusted are becoming his enemies. Tulsa isn't just the setting anymore, it's the battlefield. The trailer reminds us of how far he's fallen and hints at how much farther he can still go. As the music swells, the camera fades to Dwight's face once more. Older, harder, wiser. The king is surrounded, but his eyes don't show fear. They show something colder. Acceptance. Because a man who's lost everything has nothing left to fear. The past has returned, and it's here to collect. The trailer doesn't open with chaos. It opens with silence, the kind of silence that feels heavy, like the air right before a thunderstorm. The camera slowly drifts across the Tulsa skyline at dawn. The streets are empty, the sky painted in pale orange, and the hum of the city sounds distant, almost asleep. Then, the sound of an engine cuts through the stillness. A black Cadillac rolls down a lonely road, its reflection gliding across the puddles left by last night's rain. Inside that car sits Dwight. Manfredi.com, unreadable. A man who's been through hell and learned to smile at the flames. This opening isn't just visual, it's emotional. It tells us everything we need to know about where Dwight is now. The once confident boss of Tulsa looks like a man standing between two worlds, one foot in power, the other in punishment. The camera lingers on his hands resting on the steering wheel, the veins showing, the gold ring glinting faintly in the morning light. Every detail is deliberate. He's alive, but something inside him feels gone. As the car turns a corner, the tone shifts. The city that used to belong to Dwight now looks foreign. Storefronts are boarded up, graffiti covers the walls, and new faces watch from the shadows. Tulsa has moved on, changed while he was gone, and not for the better. This is no longer his kingdom. It's a city waiting for the next ruler. The trailer captures that quiet tension beautifully, balancing nostalgia with unease. Then comes the first dialogue, a simple, gravelly voiceover from Dwight. Every empire has a clock. The trick is knowing when it's about to run out. That line hits hard, echoing over shots of familiar landmarks, the bar, the old club, the diner. Each place looks like a memory, fading fast. It's the kind of line only a man who's lost everything can say with conviction. It doesn't sound like regret, it sounds like wisdom bought with pain. The camera cuts to a close-up. Dwight looking in the rearview mirror. The reflection flickers, showing not just his face but hints of his past. A younger version of him in New York. Maybe even a silhouette of Chicky's men in the background. It's not literal, it's symbolic. The past is catching up, riding just behind him. The editing blends these images seamlessly, giving the opening a haunting rhythm. A reminder that time never forgets. The next few moments build tension fast. We see a pair of headlights following Dwight's car, far enough to stay unnoticed but close enough to be dangerous. The audience feels it before Dwight does, that creeping sense of being hunted. The trailer doesn't reveal who's behind the wheel, it just lets the anxiety build. The soundtrack, a slow, echoing drum beat, matches the rhythm of Dwight's heartbeat. It's subtle, but it pulls you in. Suddenly, the scene shifts. The Cadillac stops outside a familiar place, the bar from season 2, the one that used to be the center of his empire. The windows are shattered, the neon sign flickering with only half the letters still lit. Dwight steps out of the car, the sound of his boots echoing against the pavement. He stands there for a long moment, staring at what's left of his dream. There's no dialogue here, just silence and the faint whistle of wind through broken glass. It's one of those cinematic moments that says more than words ever could. Then the trailer hits us with quick flashes. Dwight walking through the ruins, finding an old photo pinned behind the bar, a memory from better times. The camera zooms in on his expression, not anger, not sadness, but something colder. Acceptance. He knows the world has moved on without him, and he's ready to reclaim it the only way he knows how. Through control and power. Just when it feels like the moment might fade, the tone shifts again. The quiet is shattered by a sudden gunshot. A bottle explodes near Dwight's head, sending shards flying. He doesn't flinch. He simply turns toward the direction of the shot. The trailer never shows who fired, it cuts to black right before we find out. That's the brilliance of it. The mystery becomes the hook. Who's hunting the king? A ghost from New York? A rival from within Tulsa? The audience is left guessing, hearts pounding. As the darkness fades back into light, we see a brief glimpse of a new face, a man standing across the street, watching Dwight leave. He doesn't move. He doesn't speak. But the message is clear. The throne isn't empty anymore. There's a new player in town. The trailer doesn't give him a name, but his presence screams danger. He's younger, sharper, maybe even hungrier than Dwight. That silent rivalry sets the tone for everything that's coming in episode 7. The section closes with Dwight driving away again, smoke trailing behind his car as the city skyline fades in the rearview mirror. His voice returns, low and steady. I built this city once. I can bury it, too. The final image is a single frame, Dwight's eyes in the mirror, hard as steel before the trailer cuts to black. This opening sequence isn't just about showing scenes, it's about showing scars. Every image, every second of silence, every heartbeat reminds us that Tulsa King isn't just a story about crime, it's about survival. It's about what happens when power becomes a prison. And the only way out is through fire. The trailer's tone shifts from calm to chaos in an instant. After the quiet, haunting opening, the rhythm explodes. Gunshots echo, engines roar, and Tulsa's skyline burns in flashes of orange and red. The music grows faster, layered with a heartbeat-like drum that builds tension with every beat. This is where the trailer stops being reflective and starts being warlike. Tulsa King Season 3, Episode 7. Isn't just promising a return, it's promising blood. The first major tease hits fast. Dwight walking into what looks like a warehouse meeting. The lighting is dim, dust floating in the air, and every man in the room is armed. You can tell this isn't just business, it's a negotiation between wolves. Dwight speaks first. Calm, but dangerous. I don't do warnings anymore. That single line becomes the spark that lights the rest of the trailer on fire. The next few seconds are a blur, fists slamming into tables, guns being drawn, glass shattering. It's chaos filmed like poetry, every motion sharp and deliberate. From these flashes, it's clear there's a new gang in town, one that doesn't respect Dwight's old rules. They're younger, ruthless, and more unpredictable. A new kind of threat for a man who's always believed in structure and loyalty. The trailer never gives away their name. But there are hints, tattoos with snake emblems, black motorcycles, and a scene showing a mysterious leader with a scar across his jaw. His face is half hidden, but his voice, deep and mocking, says everything. Kings fall, Dwight. Empires rot. That's just nature. That line lingers in the air as the trailer cuts to a montage of fast-paced chaos, explosions, street fights, and police lights painting the night red and blue. We see quick glimpses of familiar faces. Tyson aiming a gun, Stacy crying in a hallway, and a body being dragged through the rain. None of it is explained, but that's the beauty of it. The trailer feeds us questions, not answers. Who died? Who betrayed who? And most importantly, how far will Dwight go this time to protect what's his? Then, in one of the most powerful moments, we see Dwight sitting alone at a diner. The place is empty, the coffee steaming untouched. He looks older, exhausted, but there's something in his eyes, that same fire that built his empire. The trailer cuts between his face and flashes of violence, as if the world outside is burning while he stays perfectly still. His voice overlays the chaos. Every man gets one last chance to choose what kind of monster he wants to be. It's a chilling line, not just about survival, but about transformation. The tension in this section isn't just about physical threats, it's emotional. We see Stacy pacing in a dark office, files scattered across her desk, a gun lying next to them. She's torn between two worlds again, justice and Dwight. Her storyline seems ready to explode, and her tear-filled eyes suggest she's about to make a choice she can't undo. Meanwhile, Tyson's arc looks darker than ever. He's seen fighting alone in an alley, blood on his shirt, shouting Dwight's name. He's not just a sidekick anymore, he's becoming something far more dangerous. Perhaps even unpredictable. The trailer also hints at betrayal from within. A quick flash shows one of Dwight's closest allies handing over a folder of documents to an unknown figure. The lighting hides their face, but the implication is loud. Someone close to him is leaking information. The look on Dwight's face in the following shot, where he slams his fist on a table, confirms it. His circle is shrinking, and the enemy might already be sitting at his table. And then comes the biggest tease of all. A scene that lasts less than 3 seconds, but could change everything. Dwight standing in front of a burning building, his reflection glowing in the firelight. Behind him, a voice whispers, "You can't fight nature forever." He turns his head slowly, eyes narrowed, and mutters, "Watch me." The music drops completely silence again before the next explosion cuts the scene to black. It's the perfect cinematic punch. A symbol that the war for Tulsa is no longer about territory. It's about legacy. Every shot in this part of the trailer feels like a promise. The show isn't playing it safe anymore. The stakes are higher, the violence more personal, and the emotions deeper. Dwight isn't fighting for control of a city, he's fighting for the last piece of himself that still believes he can win. The old rules of loyalty and code are dying, and what's rising in their place is chaos. As the montage reaches its peak, the editing becomes frantic car chases through narrow alleys, gunfire in crowded streets, Dwight punching a man through a glass door. The sound of sirens blurs into the soundtrack, and for a moment, it's hard to tell if this is law enforcement or warfare. That's the point, Tulsa has become both. Then the screen slows again. Returning to Dwight's face, bruised and bloodied, standing in the rain. He looks up toward the camera, barely breathing, and says, "You want the crown? Come take it." The words echo like thunder as the screen fades to black, followed by the logo. Tulsa King Season 3 Episode 7, The Final Sound. A single gun cocking plays before the trailer ends. This section of the trailer captures everything that makes Tulsa King so addictive: power, revenge, loyalty, and loss. It's not just teasing another episode. It's teasing a war for the soul of the show itself. The King of Tulsa has returned, but this time, he's not fighting to win. He's fighting to survive.